Using getParent is one of the worst things you can do right now in Godot because it directly tells a user, somebody that reads that code, that you are a complete Godot newbie, okay? And in this video I'm gonna show you 3 ways in which you can deal with this and create way better code, more modular and create better games overall. So for this I'm gonna be using this super simple game. So it basically has a player that moves around and that can collect some coins, okay? So with this simple prototype we can actually understand a lot of things. So for example here the coins, they are pre-instantiated in the scene. And what they have here is basically a method that the only thing that it does is checks if we are colliding with the player. If we are not colliding with the player, it basically returns. So none of this code is displayed. Just for you to not get frustrated about this, all this is literally just a twin, that animation that you've seen. So the logic that we want to take a look at is basically here. We take the canvas layer with getParent.getNode canvas layer. And then based on this, we call here a function inside of our canvas layer, which is increase score, which basically does increase the score, updates the label, and once again here it just does some twinning, okay? So very similar. Now, just for you to demonstrate here factually, let's say that then we want to move our coins to a coins container. So let's reparent them to a new node. Coins container. Okay, just so we can, for example, show them. What's going to happen is, I know if we try to play this, sorry, let's show them. When we actually collect them, we'll get a null instance. Why? Because we are trying to do getParent.getNode. But in reality, the parent of the coins are it's now coins container, and this doesn't have a canvas layer node. We will have to do getParent.getParent, and only then this will work. But once again, extra steps. And the logic itself is not pretty modular, okay? So how do we make this better? So the first way that we're gonna be discussing, which I believe is the best one, basically is groups. Let me change the color. Is groups. So what you can do is, in this case, well, the code is contained in the canvas layer. So what I'm gonna do is add here a new group. You go to the node tab on the very top right. Select here groups next to signals, and you type whatever name you want, so canvas layer. We can then copy this name, okay? And in the coin, rather than doing all this thing, we'll erase it and we'll do getTree. And the tree, what will basically allow us to do is to call this method get first node in group, and here we put canvas layer. Now, as you can see, if we play this, it will work because it's not based on inheritance or in the order or in the parents, in nothing. It's basically based on this tag, let's say, that we have assigned over here. Therefore, it's way more modular. This is my preferred way because it's super simple, as you have seen. So some limitations is that for each of them you have to assign a group. So you may, in a bigger game, you may end up having like a lot of groups here, which is not bad, but maybe some people don't like it. But once again, this is my preferred way. This is the way that I try to use as much as possible. But in some very specific scenarios, you may not be able to do it sometimes, okay, or it may not be the best approach. But just take into account that in 90% of cases, with this, you're gonna be fine. Now, for the other methods, let's now go to signals. So for the coin, what we could write here is a signal called coin collected. And rather than doing all this, what we just do is emit this signal. So coin collected.emit, and that would be all. And what this does is that it basically sends a message, okay, or it says, okay, it is a function, let's say, that is emitted. Okay, but it actually does nothing unless we connect to it, unless we subscribe to it, whatever term sounds best for you. So how do we actually go about this? In order to receive from this method, we have to actually kind of find all the coins and listen to their signals, because we can do it manually in this case because the coins have already been instantiated over here. So we can go to signals, coin collected, and connect them manually to the canvas layer, but we have to do it with each coin. So a way better approach would be, let's make, for example, all the coins be on the group coin. Let's go into the canvas layer. And on ready, what we're gonna do is, firstly, I will get all the coins. So I'm gonna do get tree.get nodes in group coin. So I will get all of them. Oh, and by the way, let's apply this change to all our coins. So let's actually go to the scene and apply the change over here. There we go. So now all of our coins are in that group. So we'll get all these nodes, and for each coin in coins, this is a for each loop. For each of these coins, what I'm gonna do is do coin.coin collected, which is the signal name. I will do connect basically, and I will connect it to, in this case, increase score. Okay, and as simple as that. If I have not misspelled anything, it is basically working in the same way. There we go. As you can see, we did require more steps. For example, the main downside of this is that you must have access to every single instance. So it is, let's say, relatively easy if the coins are being pre-instantiated, but if they are instantiated in runtime, as in, I don't know, in a runner game, for example, they are instantiated as you jump through obstacles, for example. So in those cases, when the coin is instantiated, okay, there you should connect to some signal. But once again, those are extra steps, but it is another way of handling them. An advantage of this is that not only can you listen to the signal in this script, but also in other scripts, because the message that is emitted is the same one. So you can basically replicate this exact same logic in other scripts and also listen to that information. But once again, this is just another way, a little bit more complicated, but it's there for some specific scenarios. And the last one is the auto loads. In reality, auto loads are used for way more things than just avoiding using getParent. But basically, the auto load, what it's gonna do is create a script that is globally accessible. Okay, so we know how to use tags, groups, or whatever it is to do what we want. Okay, or in reality, we can mix them with signals. For example, let's just start with this. What I'm gonna do is I will just create a new script. I tend to call these scripts just global. You can call it game manager, game handler, wherever you want. And okay, what is gonna happen is that if you press play, let me actually disable the floating window and let me just embed it. Because now in the remote, as you can see, these are the nodes that have the player, the different coins in the coins container, and this. That's cool. But if I go to the project and I go to globals and I add as an auto load the script, the global script. Where is it? Over here. Global.gd, and I will add it. What's going to happen is that in the remote, basically remember the remote tab is where the actual nodes in the game session exist. I have a new node here called global, and if I take a look in the inspector, it has the global script attached. So it's basically that. It's a script that we can super easily access, and it will always be present in the game session. It's like if you have worked with singletons in Unity, it's basically that. So what we could do in this global, let me just check the logic. So we have this increase score function. So some things that we could move to a different place could be the score managing. So this could be part of the global. So here I'm gonna handle the score, and here I'm gonna handle this. So func, I'm gonna call this one increase score. There we go. And then what I do here in the canvas layer, for example, is updating the label and playing this twin. So this is logic 100% related to the canvas layer. So in this case, I'm gonna combine a signal, and I'm gonna here create a signal score increased, and I'm gonna emit it over here. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, let's say something similar, but here in the ready, what I'm gonna do is call. I'm gonna save the changes. Global, which is the class name, which is basically this name that we have defined over here by default to reference our global script. So that's why it's global, because you can access it by just typing this. And you do global.score increased dot connect, and we connect it to increase score. As simple as that, okay? And then to access the score, we do global.score. So very simple. So that's why I also taught you signals, because all these can be kind of connected to each other, and this would be .emit, okay? So now what we have to do is here in the coins, we don't want to use this signal anymore, but what we want to do is do global dot increase score, okay? And now once again this should be working in the exact same way, okay? They are getting deleted, the score is increased, and we have no other problems. I don't know why score was there 4, that was weird. I know if this was also something that used to be before, but I believe this is, I have 4 coins here. I believe that I have duplicated one, or I don't remember if this was from the very beginning of the game, my bad. But yeah, the logic is perfect. So 1, 2, and 3, okay? So yes, these are basically the main ways of dealing or avoiding to use getParent. I hope that they have been helpful. And something that will also be super helpful is that if you go to the description of this video, you will be able to enjoy 1 month free and 60% off your first month by accessing to Skillshare, and here you will have access to all my Godot courses, okay? So it is amazing, just log in here and you get 1 month free, completely free, okay? And here you have access to all my courses. I have way more, as you can see, over 7 courses. Or if you want to buy them individually, you can get them in Udemy. And all these links here have sometimes they have a limited time discount. So here you can take a look at all the Godot courses that I have. For example, I have also a ChatGPT course, a Unity course. So once again, pretty interesting stuff. And this is one of the best investments you can do in your own education, okay? So I will see you here on any of these courses, okay? And bye-bye.